That beat's silly, man. That beat's silly.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. Uh, again, here we are, 2023, here with my guys. I am Clem Boogie. This is Jason, and there's Mike. And together we are the trifecta, and this is our platform, our channel, straight to it. So tonight's episode is going to revolve on the difference between friends and associates and what it means to you and what do you get out from it, and what purpose does it serves to you and your space. Um, Whoever wants to tackle it, go right to it.
Yeah. So for me, you know, friendships are always based on an element of mutual affection, right? Like I don't believe that a one-sided admiration requires, constitutes a friendship. There has to be some type of mutual trust, mutual respect, mutual warmth, mutual caring. If I consider someone more than associate, it's because those dynamics exist, right? Whereas I've been in areas where I've had coworkers who were associates or people I've, dealt business with outside in any type of private sector that I didn't feel the same elements of mutual affection or, like a high level of trust outside of the contractual, you know, benefit of professionalism. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think for me, that's where there's a straight split, is that there has to be some type of high area of trust, respect, warmth, that kind of thing.
Mike?
Like I said, for me, it's different in this because, like I said, I've never looked at the word of like friends of separating people, you know. And like I was telling the saying before, kind of like all together, like I've never really had a problem with nobody. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like really never had a problem with nobody. Anybody I've had a problem with, I didn't really care about. So like I said, most people that I deal with, I consider family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I deal with everybody accordingly though. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And the same for as like associate part now, that's where, like I said, like for me, it's like family and then friends.
Right.
So like Jay, just meeting you and stuff like that. Like I give you that off a rip because, like I said, like we haven't had any issues. There's no reason, even with people that I grew up with from back in the days, like I still consider them family, even if I haven't seen them in years or really haven't been around them like that. But at one point in time, we rocked with each other like that to the point it felt that you had me and I had you.
Right.
We good for life. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So for me, is that then it's like I said, I guess then it's like family and associates. Like friends is just nobody's really never going to be a friend. Like you said, you come and you go or whatever it is. That's just what it is. I might not even know your name to be honest.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, again, it's people who I consider family. Where
Right.
I know I got my immediate real family, but these are people like I told Cliff, we met way back in the day, school and shit like that. We
Right.
connected there, but even in that, it wasn't too much outside of school. You know what I
Right.
mean? It was school back then, and then it was randoms of seeing each other, speaking, and things like that, and so on and so forth. So from our connection back then, all the way up until now, I consider family.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is because at any point in time, you or other people have been just stand up people around me. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I, like I said, like for you, like what was that?
Yeah.
That's
Like
90,
super early 90s.
93, 94.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it with so many people. Like, yo, there's no way that I can't consider certain people my family
Right.
if I've been around you that long. Like, no matter what the scenario may have been, if we've never had no official issue,
Right.
people I went to school with, like the girls, the guys, all like that's really like my cousin or my brother or my sister or something like that or whatever it is. And I think that's the way I approach it,
Right.
and I give people that type of love. That's why I get it back the same way.
Mm.
And as far as just other people, as far as being friends, it turns into that because, like I said, if I meet somebody like same people I met out here, I met some people new being in Charlotte that I consider to be like I said, good people in that aspect of like, like I said, friends. But it's just you're friends in the beginning just because we're kind of new to meeting each other.
Right,
but
right,
after
right.
I've kind of known you probably about 6 months to a year, like I kind of consider you family after that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
trust you to be around me and my situations and my family or whatever it is to know certain things. Now the associates part, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. The associates parts probably come more with women. You're it's bad. I don't really do female friends. So it's like you family
Mhm.
or you associate with them. I don't do that. So it's like it's you associated. However we tend to associate with each other is how we associate. But like I
Understood.
said, that could come and go. That could
Yeah.
come and go. We could be cool today and never speak again tomorrow, and I won't bat an eye. But
That's a fact.
somebody like my family, or yeah, it's a little different then. But yeah, so that's where I'm at on that.
All right. For me, the distinction is, it's a wide range. I think, friends, it's a powerful thing, but it gets thrown around loosely because, you have people you assume that are friends, but depending on the situation, it's just like anything. Like three of us, we all have tattoos. So it's like pain thresholds. What are you willing to withstand? Not a lot of you as you get older, you kind of weed out of weed the weak. And I'm sure all our parents said the same thing. Not everybody's your friend. You know what I mean? And I think you guys having kids and especially boys, young men, you try to explain that to them, especially in the climate that we live in. Not everybody's your friend. It's easy to say that they're your friend because there's a lot of hang-arounds, but they're more so acquaintances. Acquaintances to me is, people who find things that are beneficial. And, we've all been in that side of things where like we know somebody, oh yeah, I know somebody over at the Nike. I got a plug over by Nike, or I got a plug over at Foot Locker. We've all done that where we need a plug for sneaks or, smoke or, food, tickets, anything. But I think as we grow older, the mentality changes. I think we all kind of come back full circle and just have that, small circle of friends. Mike, you mentioned it, family. Me and you, we go back almost now 30 years. You know what I mean? And look how fast that's gone. Jay, me and you, like, I believe next year will be almost 15 years. You see how time just goes, but it's solid ground. And that's what like I appreciate about you too. And it's always been like that through the thing,
Right.
Test of time. With me and Mike, we're a year apart as far as like schooling and stuff like that. But our common denominator was basketball, St. Ray's girls, St. Catherine's girls, and all that craziness. There's Harlem and there's the Bronx. It wasn't that far. Jay, me and you, we seen each other in the hallway and instantly that was it. We had common people, co-workers and stuff like that, but me and you, we had our own thing. When we saw each other, it was always love. But it's not always the case when you see people. You got to always have not necessarily protect yourself, but you got to kind of have that eye to be like, I don't know about this cat. Yeah, man.
Now, here's the thing with that, right? Here's the thing with that. What even in dating with me, it's like my cousin be saying that, she'd be like, yo, like you always dive in an empty pool head first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like that.
Right.
But like for what you said, right? And this is what it is for me. That's how I said the thing about like people like we're older, but our energy is still the same energy as far as like we in the hallways trying to watch for Mr. Sadie or somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like with certain people, it's like I see people and people light up like as if like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. And I give it right back, or I give them that type of energy. So it ain't like we got older or we got whatever it is. It's just, like I said, time passed and it is what it is now. Like I said, for certain people, So this has always been me, like I said, with having kids in the street shit. Like I was one of the niggas that never really was going home. Like game over, everybody going home. I'm outside on the block.
Right.
The basketball, I'm up the block with these dudes, whatever they do. But I'm not doing nothing, but I'm with them.
Right.
And I'm over here with them on this corner, whatever they doing, and I'm around the block with these dudes and stuff like that. And again, for me, it was I fuck with you or however we fuck with each other in that, in whatever it is. Outside of that, I don't expect nothing else outside of what it is that how we deal with each other. Right. And that's how I feel like a lot of people get into hate situations and stuff like that. Because like I said, like the sneaker plug thing. If you just my sneaker plug, then you just my sneaker plug. I fuck with you hard body. But that's it. I ain't expected no more out of, this, that, and the third. I ain't expected you, if this shit is going down, I ain't expecting to call you and be like, yo, these niggas just tried to jump me. I know I just brought them cherry 11s from you, but, yo, pull up. And that nigga be like, no, then you feel the type of way. So like I said, I fuck with niggas accordingly. I've been blessed that my same crew that I grew up with since I was 7, 8 years old, we're still together. Like that. So if it ever had to go that way, it'd be that way in regards to that, but also with the people that I connect with now, like my people I'm out here with now. Yeah, I lay it all on the line for my niggas because I know they'll do the same for me. You know what I mean? So again, I fuck with people, and I had to learn that a long time ago. However I fuck with you is how I fuck with you. I don't expect no more than whatever our relationship is. Right. If it's a basketball relationship, that's what it is. And like I said, Jay, like, haven't met you personally and stuff like that. But right now, our relationship is this and our conversations and shit like that. So at the same time, I fucks with you. And now I know you do the shirts. Fuck, we got that lane and stuff like that. And I'm here for you on that. I'm here for you on that note and stuff like that. So again, that's what it is. I ain't looking, for you to be a coach with me or nothing like that. And then, he don't want to coach. Oh, that ain't my man. That's what usually happens. People be trying to bring people in to sit there and have them be it's like even with my moms. I say this, and I told my moms this was crazy. That we had some words about some stuff, and I think we talked about this in one of the relationship thing. Accepting people's love the way however they give it. Right. So I'm accepting your friendship how you give it to me. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I'd be around people who was doing all like I said, things in the street. But when we together, it ain't about none of that. It's just a friendship. You're not trying to force your lifestyle on me. I'm not trying to force my lifestyle on you. We're just at a common ground of you're a cool dude, I'm a cool dude. You're a cool female, I'm a cool female. That's it. You might be about to go around the corner and go do something to the ops. But then it's like, all right, Mike, I see you later. I'm going to do what I'm doing. You go do what you do.
Right. So I guess like we can go a bunch of different ways with it. As far as like opening up as, what you do in your professional life and also in your personal life. But let's touch on like the professional. And Jay, me and you have shared that for over 10 years in Bellevue. Let's just put it out there. The nonsense, the trials and tribulations that go in that place. Oh, yeah. And it's interesting because being there as long as we both have and seeing what we've seen, what I know for you, you have a true distinction of associates, acquaintances, whatever you want to classify it as. And you've been in the line of work that you have been in for the better portion of your career. You're able to separate. But again, I think, it's easy to get sucked in because when we all collectively work, you're talking about 80-85% of your life. You're working on the clock 24 hours out of the day. You can say 16 hours or something, you're away from your family, 8 hours or whatever the case may be. So however you break it up, you're away from your family, away from actual loved ones, your bloodline, but you're at work. You have to, count on people. And, for anyone listening out there, Jason is in the mental health aspect of healthcare. I've worked with him. I've seen him in action. He does know what he's doing. We're not just here talking and acting stupid. So he is knowledgeable what he's doing. Jay, talk about it.
Yeah. So, and that's what makes it hard is that in healthcare, you have to trust someone else, and
Right.
you have to trust that their professional acumen is so like it's so above level because your health is on the line. Like,
Yep.
sometimes we have our patients that are going through situations, and what people don't realize is even if someone's going through a bout of depression, clinical depression, not
Mhm.
just feeling depressed, but a bout of clinical depression.
Mhm.
Depression isn't always just sadness, suicidal ideations. Depression can be expressed in some of the most violent, heinous manners, and people don't really understand that because we only know, whatever we see on television or whatever cool TV show is tackling the topic of the week, right? But the reality is that it can be a very unsafe place, especially if you don't know what you're doing, or if you put too much trust in someone who doesn't know what they're doing. And that's what makes working in that dynamic more challenging. It isn't the patients. You expect the unexpected from the patients that you serve. It's the people that you have to try to form, not just an associate or an acquaintance level. You want to
Mhm.
have a bond where you
Right.
know that if my back is facing this way, I know it's covered, because not just because you're getting a paycheck, but because you give a crap, right? Like,
Right.
so I've learned to care for people because I don't want to see them hurt. So I've invested emotional levels into people, and thankfully became friends, and some considered family. And unfortunately, there are some that I could never
Right.
consider that, because those are the type of people that do the, you know, that ain't in my job description, and I'm not doing that, and I got my own life to worry about. You on your own, that
Right.
ain't my business. Oh, they should have just took their medication. Oh, if they wanted, like, and it makes it hard when not everybody's on the same page for the collective well-being of everyone. Some people
Right.
are there just for their own well-being, to pay their bills, and it makes it hard to be friends with associates. So that's
Right.
where lines come in, right? And it's
Right.
like, all right, you know what? I understand. I can't force you to be other than what your perception is going to be. I just have to adapt when engaging with you, that we're just going to do this. We're going to be
Right.
professional, and
Right.
and I'm cool. Like, I'm never going to be like, yo, but I want to have love for you. You should, like, I'm not going to
Right.
do that. We're never going to sit down and have a talk where, I'm not your uncle. We're not doing that.
Right. Right.
So I understand your position. All right, you don't got my back. Cool. I'll never expect it. The day that you may have it one day, I'm happily to be shocked. I'm cool with it. Sometimes the element of surprise is a beautiful thing, but I'll never, I won't walk in expecting it. Now I understand this is the guy. He just wants to get his check, and I respect it because,
Right.
a lot of workplaces, they can burn you and they can
Yeah.
wear you down where you feel like, I just want to get my check, man. I can't deal with this no more, because we've
Right.
all had, I mean, people that are listening, I'm very sure a majority of us out there in the world have had a supervisor that made you
Yeah.
really just want to only do your job, or
Yeah.
someone that you just like, you know what, I ain't with it, man. I can't do it. They don't give a crap about me. So I understand where people may feel they're just going to do enough to get their check. As long as we're on the same page that we understand, I'm
Right.
okay. And the workplace is, I think, the greatest, even greater than the street. The workplace is the greatest place in the world to get a clear understanding of friends versus associates, because there
Mhm.
is
Of
no,
people.
yes, of people. Yes, yes. It is
Woo.
the greatest. I'm telling you, if you never understand the clear distinction between the two, get a job. You
Yeah.
will know quick.
So
You
look,
will know.
to piggyback off of that, right? Even with that there, right? So that's the next thing. Like, I've worked certain places, like I've had jobs, different places, and the funnest job as far as the people I've connected. I used to work for Volunteers of America. I used to do the homeless families.
Right.
I used to work at the Regent on, what was it, 81st and Broadway. I used to
Yeah.
work there doing housing and case management and stuff.
Nice.
That crew of people there, like even to this day, like like family. You know what I'm saying? And I knew some before that was already established that, but like the people, we still touch base, this, that, and the third, and so on and so forth. But as you said as well, there was always the ones that you knew you couldn't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm just here to do my job. And so that's part of where I'm at now. And that's where I've been at for the last few years. After I left out of that, and it wasn't, I kind of decided I can't work for nobody no more.
Right.
Like, honestly, because one, just like you said, like a lot of people for what I want to do don't really do what they're supposed to do. They don't really have that pure passion for whatever it is. And that's one of the things I'm trying to promote now, as far as just, I hate to see that there's so many people working jobs that they don't want to do, and they're not putting their full effort into it, which is causing a domino effect of why we have so many problems around this world, from in the school system that we brought up before.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that's just there for certain things. There's people that do their other jobs for certain things. So again, that's how I don't work with nobody, because it ain't too many people on my mindset of how I help people and how I strive to do that. So that was part of when I even had my kids. I was coaching when I had my kids.
Right.
And I had to stop, because when I'm coaching, I'm fully invested into that. Like I'm mentally there. I'm with, checking up on school lists, and when I was in the city, it was like, parents was like, hey, I know y'all game ended at 8 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. My son ain't home yet. Like, I got to go back out and look for them and, things of that nature. So I had to separate that, because I was a full-time dad by myself, and I did not have the energy to coach and do all of that, and then learn how to be a father to 2 new boys at the same time. I used to have them like, I'm coaching the game with the double stroller. Fresh. Like, I was like that. You know what I'm saying? And it just was just so much where it was just like I had to stop. But again, as like I said, the friends to associates, and that's the thing about, like I said, the field and the stuff that I do.
Mm-hmm.
All my jobs have had to kind of interact with people. Right. So that's how a lot of friendships develop, especially being someone that works with kids and families. You gotta become their friend from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to present yourself as a friend, as someone, as a safe place, as, a safe person, a mutual respect from the jump. So if you're giving off that vibe and then they're taking it, it just automatically kind of just rolls into like, that's Uncle Mike. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got kids I train, that's Uncle Mike. And, and it just goes into that stuff. So like I said, I definitely get it on that, because again, and like I said, when I say again in the workplace, one, you can work certain places until you work into like some real corporate America and got to be around people and hear them tell their stories and the shit that they do. And it's crazy. That's how I tell people. I'm like, bro, like all you, like my dudes in the street, I'm like, yo, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like the stories that you hear in the workplace, it's crazy. You'll be surprised. Like, you do this every week. Like, if my boyfriend don't know, or my wife don't know, and it like the things that people be, it's crazy. But like I said, it's like school. It's a whole nother world at work. Like I said, that 8 hours you spend at work with them people, it's like sometimes, like I said, that's some people be happy to go to work. I'm out, leaving my family. I'm doing overtime because it's popping at the job. They wilding out there. They're telling all types of stories. Y'all doing things. You know what I'm saying? But then you go home and it's back to your rest. So like I said, I get it, bro. I definitely get it.
Yeah, I think definitely it's based on approach. I think, like someone approaches you, you kind of get a feel for their energy, whether you want to fuck with them or not. And then there's other times where, like, there's just people you just got to respect that they're there for the time being. Like, 8 hours of work. Oh, who I'm on the shift with? Okay. I know what I'm getting into. So you like mentally prepared yourself, and you go forth with that. Yeah, and Mike, you hit it on the head. Actually, both of you guys hit it on the head. Get a job. You get a job, you'll have a brand new understanding as to why people act the way they do and conduct themselves the way they do. A lot of people think what's up?
You know what's crazy? Like I mean, you just hammered it heavy right now. Yo, I dead serious used to see the schedule way ahead to
Right.
see who's gonna be on shift, so I could know if I gotta like sneak some gadget, so I can start watching TV on my phone or
Right.
something. I can't mess with certain people. Yo, like it's crazy because I mean, outside of I gotta give all my attention to my patients, but if I'm doing
Yeah.
like a double and I'm gonna work the
Mhm.
night shift for some overtime, like Mike
Mhm.
brought up, sometimes we need that OT. So if
Right.
I was doing that and I knew that they were going to be sleeping and I couldn't really talk to these other coworkers because the vibe is just professional and
Right.
nothing more, and we're not really cracking the personal life stories yet, I know what I got to prepare for. But then if I'm working with like Benny or Blanco or somebody, I know we laughing the whole 8 hours. Like we
Right.
gonna be telling, like Mike said, we gonna be telling stories. We gonna be so like it's true. Like you really plan your work day based on who you working with, and it's crazy.
And see,
Yeah.
y'all situation is different. See, like I said, I've never had shifts and it varied like that. I've never worked in those type of fields. So, like I said, when I worked at Volunteers of America, it was a set group of people, 9 to 5, case managers. It was case managers, housing, employment. We were all together, different floors, but we interacted during that time frame. So it was never like, man, who's working this shift or who that. And the same thing with the schools. I'm with the teachers, I'm with the staff and stuff like that. And I've been blessed to be, like I said, to be in great situations where even when I worked at the Harlem Day, like the whole group, the school used to pay for us to go to the bar. Like they would rent the bar out consistently.
Right.
Yeah, we probably had at least 10 like staff parties in one school year. Like it was like, yo, we had what's the name? The principal paid for drinks for like the first 2 hours, and you just and the teachers in there throwing them back, telling stories and blah 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 blah. And then the same with the other spot. Like we would go out to eat together. We go to like I used to go shopping at lunch, and they see me come back. Next thing you know, I got some of the girls going with me shopping, and we then tomorrow it might be the other dudes. We going downtown just to check 40 dudes for lunch. Like it was just like that with us at most of my jobs and shit. And like I said, after the Volunteers of America thing and moving out here to North Carolina, I went to the school system for a second, but the one thing I will say, it's still that divide of that New York versus down south thing. So, some people rocked with me, but some didn't because I was from New York.
Yeah, that's always going to be there.
You feel whatever it is and so on and so forth. But as time went, it clicked. But just some people be in their own ways. And like I said, after that, you just treat them accordingly. And keep it moving. We don't have a conversation.
Yeah. So let's mix it up. I think now, obviously we have our understanding, but we are men. We view things and value different things, and we kind of centric certain ideas and ideology in different ways. When you guys, I know we've all been around females. Jay, you're married. Mike, you do. Our audience, they love what you do because I get tons of questions of why Mike is the way Mike is. I'm like, if you want any understanding, either watch or just go to his social media. His personality is all over his page. But the distinction between men and women when it comes to his friends and associates, we've all been there. We've all had arguments. We've all had, also positive, back and forth dialogue or whatever the case may be. Why is it so different? Like we can, kind of appeal and understand what friends versus associates are, acquaintances, whatever the case may be. But I find it, whether you're telling females in your family, females that you're dating, married, or, just any other female you're surrounded, co-workers, why is it so hard for them to understand and differentiate the two?
I'm going to say, one, in regards to so many females who, like I said, I think it's more of something that they just go with, because the one thing I hate from so many females, which I consider to be like I don't got friends, like the ones who like, I don't do female friends and stuff like that. Like to me, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I think that just came from that's something that's been passed down from generation to generation. Like, well, that's how they act, so I'm just going to be the same way. not having no real experience with it, but it's like, I don't got female friends. I don't got, but then you see the group of girls who girls trips, hang out all the time, so on and so forth. Again, so for me, like I said, I think with a lot of women, it's the expectation of friendship. Because not to say this, some women do that in a relationship with a man, the expectation of something without it being really stated or established. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it should be this way. Like I was watching something recently and it could go both ways. It was a girl's trip. Last night of the girls' trip, the girl had her dude come out.
Right.
And the girls was super upset to the point where the girls was about to fight her. Like, why you bring him, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, so on and so forth. And for me, it just should have been like, the last night of the trip, like, let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what? It ain't like we doing nothing super outrageous or whatever it is, unless, you know, she ain't want somebody else to know whatever she doing out there where they was at. But again, the way so many female, like, they don't associate with people, or they don't associate with women, but they got no problem being cool with men, is always a throw off. Like, that's like, I don't know. That don't sound right to me, but
it's definitely a tricky ground. Simply because
it's a choice. You choosing that. Y'all using your play on words to say, in some cases, you want to fuck with a lot of niggas. You know what I mean? You want to deal with a lot of dudes, but you cover it up that way. As far as I don't deal with women, or I don't got no female friends. Like I said, when I hear that, that's kind of a red flag for me to be like, I'm out. Like this only going to be a short stay. Like the hotel, like this going to be a short stay, because if you ain't got no friends of your own, I already tell you going to be a problem.
Jay, you add a great element because you are the married one here. So,
so I want to say, I do have female friends. My wife is fully aware of that.
Okay.
But so to understand that, I think the world should know that I wasn't always married, and the way I viewed my female friendships in this journey were always different depending on who I was. So I went through a phase where I was a complete charitable, like I was just like anybody can get it kind of phase, right? And that kind of was where the friendships would be defined. I was always honest. I've always let people know I'm not trying to be with nobody. I'm just trying to smash. And if you don't want to, we cool. Like we could build a friendship. That's where I've always felt that the genuine friendships I've gotten from females was because they knew who I was and they stood around. And even though they didn't want to smash because they wanted something more from someone else, but they were like, "Yo, now his vibe is dope. I may not want that, but everything else is dope enough to build a friendship with." And those are the people that are still there long term. And so my friendships, all my friendships, female friendships, come from before my marriage. None of them, since I've been married, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess social media, you know, people start to connect and think that, you know, we and it's cool because sometimes you are. So I got a few people on social media I've been cool with since marriage, but I make it public. There's not one female in the history of life, even when I was charitable, that could ever say I slid in their DMs. I have rules. I'm public. Even when I was charitable, I made sure it was posted. The world knew you wasn't duped, you wasn't misled, you wasn't none of that. You got what you got because you knew what the package came with. And that's what helped me be so good with female friendships, is that I never felt like I had to be like, nah, I'm gonna pretend that I want to only be with her until after I smash. I never felt the need to do that because you know,
you ain't no player when you lying, player. When you gotta lie and do all of that.
I can't remember. My memory is shot to hell.
I'm not trying.
Can't remember shit. Like that. That's one thing me and my wife always joke about. She'd be like, "Nigga, if you ever cheated, you'd be caught in 3 days because you wouldn't remember the lie you told." And it's true. Like my kids be like, "Dad, remember we did this last year, and I'd be like, we did that, and I'm like, oh shit, we did that. Like I forget everything, and you know, it's. I don't know if I went through a heavy drinking phase and maybe that's what did it. But I'm telling you, I used to party a lot and you know, just drinking. I never did nothing else. But I don't know what happened, man. I guess all the lights in the club, or I used to damn near live in a club at one point, and it feels like I can't remember shit. So I've always been an open book. You know, on social media, I like to be I like to poke the bear. I just feel like the people who genuinely become your friends that are female is because you have been honest in that. Like, I've never tried to be like, yo, I'm a smash, and then take for granted that we're mandatory connected in some form of friendship. I never did that. Even people that I've had sex with, a lot of them, I mean, pretty much most of them, we're still cool. We just not gonna be cool where we're gonna hang out, because that situation, I'm not bringing that energy into my home. We cool. We did that. We could do the, you know, you want to comment on my post publicly? That's cool. Don't never message me privately, because I don't answer those. I have rules now that I've matured into something different. You know, I've had to sever, not so much sever ties, but sever means of communication in certain avenues that I'm not comfortable with, because those always lead to misconceptions and people tend to assume that the way you spoke to them before, it might mean the same way now because of what it meant to them before. And, you know, I don't want no one to ever get misled. I don't want them to mislead themselves, because I'm not misleading anybody, but I don't want them to mislead themselves. So for me, female friendships are easy to manage because they're all public for me. So if I have no ulterior motives, it's easy. I have no drama with females. Like and you know, my wife is going to be watching, so it's not like I'm lying. I've never had a drama situation where my wife is like, "Who's that?" Never. My wife has never been like, "Who's that chick that be talking in your?" I never had none of that, because I keep everything public. I have no private social media pages. Everything's public, and I always occasionally like to remind the world, I've never slid in anyone DMs. If you think I did, screenshot it, put it public. I don't care. I make sure I hold myself accountable for everything. I play no games.
I've slid in a DM. I've slid in a DM or two, and but like I said, your situation is different because you're married. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Back when you were single like that, it probably wasn't DMs really going on. That was a little while back.
Right. DMs wasn't a thing.
It wasn't the thing. So even for me, like I said, with that, like, if I slide in a female's DM, I may say something and, you know, give something. If she bite, then, you know, we talking. But if it ain't, then it's over. So like I said, I've never got the people who, like, when girls be like, yo, dudes be getting disrespectful after that, or like just shooting them pictures and things like that. Like, that's just bugged to me, because I never wanted to be no one, like you said, to be like, look what this clown dude did, or whatever it is, and screen or whatever. Like, that just, like, it just didn't make no sense. And like you said, as far as with females, like, I put it on the line early. Like, within our first to second conversation, you know exactly what type of relationship I want to have with you. And we could have talked twice in the same day. Like, you gonna know within a short period of time, like, first conversation, blah, 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 later on that night, like, this is where it's at. This is kind of where I'm at. If you there, cool. If you not, cool as well. But if you are, this how we move. If you don't, we can still move this way. But then, you know, like I said, the level of the topic of conversation changes. Like, I've had to tell females, like, I've had females slide in my DMs, send me pictures and all of that, and you know, and we might be kind of talking like that, but it's like, is we trying to take it there? Nah, I don't really know. All right, cool. Don't send me nothing then. Like, don't send me no videos. Don't send me no pictures. You know, we really don't got to talk in our DMs if it's like that. If it's a regular conversation about something I posted, we could do that on the comments or whatever it is. Or we can talk about it, but don't, you know, I tell people, oh, don't blur the lines. Like, you know, women, oh, well, I ain't trying to go there. That's cool. But here's the thing. you not gonna be able to play that back and forth with me. Like I've had female, oh, I'm at the club, I'm twisted. All right, cool. Hope you get home safe. Like we already established that we're not there.
Right.
So,
Right.
like I said, oh, so what it is, like somebody said, like, no, I can know exactly what you're saying. You gotta say it.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the one who's, I'm not trying to take a hit. And people, but girls say it all the time. They be like, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know. They damn near doing what's the what's the game? It's a they damn near doing charades trying to get you.
Yeah.
They damn near doing charades trying to, and I'm like, and I know exactly what it is. Like, oh, To Kill a Mockingbird, but you gonna have to say that shit. Like, I ain't gonna guess it, and then move off a guess. So you know what I mean. But again, back to the females with the friend shit. Like, on that note, as far as with us, they will definitely try to play that friend role and friend their way into a situation, and could be mad when I've had that though, when they try to friend their way into a situation. And we kind of already established that I'm not trying to go that way with it, but they still try to friend their way into the situation and then be mad that I'm still where I'm at after that. Like, and people used to tell me, like, but you be doing this. I'm like, well, what type of dude am I to have a female hang out with me on some friendship and not be nice? Right. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm cooking, you eating. If we out at the bar, like, I understand that you may like, that's on you. You got to control that. You know what I mean? As far as her, you got to control that. Just like I got to control me. When you tell me, no, it ain't like that. It ain't like I could be like, oh, well, you know, I still, nah, it's just over. So it's the same way on your end. Now, you know, back in the day when when I was like that, like I said, I might, okay, we could just do this tonight and that'd be the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now I've even gotten even more cautious with that because, like I said, I know I could flick the switch and it's just, and like I said, tomorrow we could be at work in the workroom. How you doing? All right, so back to the story. Like, it don't got to change. So, you know, but again, women with that particular situation where a lot of women kind of, you know, say they don't hang out with other women or whatever it is and stuff like that. Like, to me, that's a red flag. There's no way that I can say I don't hang out with other guys. Right. I only hang out with women. Like, that doesn't even seem natural. Like, who do you really bond with? Who do you really talk about real women life things? Like, and that's my problem with it. Like, you can't talk to me about cramps because I don't have them. And I don't really have no, they be like, oh, you don't understand. I'm like, you're right, I never will. Like, I never will understand. Just like you won't understand when a guy got blue balls or whatever it is, or a guy hitting it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just certain shit it'll never be there. I'm gonna hear you. I hear you. But outside of that, I don't have no feeling towards it. So that's part of my issue, I guess, with the friendship thing. Like, I don't look at nobody past what they showed me. Right. You know what I mean? You genuine and you good from the gate, then I consider you genuine and good all the time. After you leave me, you would go rob an old lady. I might say you fucked up, but between me and you, it is what it is. And I don't want that. Like I said, of course now I'm aware to, you know, the type of shit you are, the person you are, but you know, I can't pass judgment for the life you live over there. That's not around me. When you're around me and you act accordingly, you could be cursing up a storm over there. When you don't curse, it's cool because I don't like cursing like that.
So what's you guys' take when a female kind of, you know, pierces their eye and kind of gives you that side face? Because, you know, we all do have female friends. I think for men, especially men our age, we have female friends that, like, let's just get over it. But I think females have this thing where what I'm noticing, they're very territorial. Jealousy is at a high pitch. And even the way they talk to you about certain things, the second, just like that meme that's been going out there for months and months, a woman will listen to the full story. The minute you say a female's name, it's like that light switch goes off and they're like, oh, wait, pause. then they want to talk and they want to know more so about that female. Like, what part does she play into the story or whatever scenario that you're trying to play out? I always find it interesting because for me, I'm very calm and laid back, but I'm just like, you're really going to question me about a female? You didn't listen to anything, but you listened to that part. Like half the time you can't hear anything, but you heard that. So where do you guys stand with that stuff?
Like you said, and even in saying that, I had one of them little aha moments. And like I said, it's crazy what I feel I've learned in those situations and whatnot. So, like you said, women are territorial. And I said, like, a woman hears you tell another story about whatever it is with another woman, where she could be your friend and you could just be telling her a story about another woman. She's so tapped into what's going on with that other woman. One, because like you said, they are territorial. And the reason I feel like that is too, because like I said, with some men, not all, brotherhood for men comes from so many different things.
Right.
It could be sports, it could be this, it could be that, it could be cars. Like, it's so many different things. For women, I don't really think they have those many things to connect with women on. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you're a hooper. We're friends because we're hoopers, or we're friends because you're this, or you do this, you whatever it is. So for women, with men, like they said, like, I could see it as, like I said, like, she's found something good,
right, and
she don't want to lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it be in most of those situations. Like, oh, you got, some, it's with some want to meet the other female and become friends with her. And now we're all friends. That's one of my other lifestyles, but that's a whole nother story where we all just good associates. But, in certain situations, like I said, like, I've seen it. Like, I got homegirls that, like, we really talk and, talk about life and our kids and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. And like I said, I've heard her say, like, yeah, I get jealous when you tell me you're doing the same with another female, having those same type of conversations and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. But the only thing that makes it work, and they had to get over that, they know that that doesn't change how I feel towards you. It ain't like, me and you have this connection, and because I'm getting this connection with somebody else, I'm going to fade you out. No, I still fuck with you the same way I fuck with them. So I think, like you said, in the territorial part, a lot of women just probably look at it as they think they're going to lose something. They're going to lose, like, I'm going to lose this guy. I'm going to lose this. Because like I said, for the things that a lot of women would possibly connect on, especially in this day and age, not really, more different now. But back then, it was things that women kind of considered, some women or women in the hood or minority considered to be negative, to get considered to be like a housewife or just a mother who takes care of their kids and stuff. Like, they looked at that as a downgrade and certain stuff like that. But now it's different. Now you got, the girls trip chicks who just, they click because they fly out all the time, or boss chicks, so now that's why you're seeing more women clicking together, because they have different things that they can, I don't know if I did that right even, but they have different things that they're have to connect with. Like I said, for us, we got sports, we got this, we got that, we got, manly stuff. For them, in most cases, they don't connect with that because they don't even want to associate with some of those womanly traits of, like I said, like, I cook and clean for my, that's why most women who are married connect with a lot of other women that are married, because like I said, we have something similar now that we can bond off of. But when now it's just this female here who, she don't cook, this female here who got kids, this female who does this and this, that, and the third, they don't find no way to attach to each other, in my opinion.
Jay, you want to tap in?
I've been very lucky in the journey of women that I haven't. The reason I haven't engaged in so much high levels of jealousy is because I've always been upfront with the minimal um the minimal right you have to me, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm having an array of sexual partners, you know that your rights are limited in how you can question me because we already have an understanding on who I am.
Right.
I've never had to mislead. And even like, so when I was in college, most of my friends in college were female. I had a couple
Mhm.
dudes only, but mostly were female, and a lot of them were wing women, right? And some, some we did things, but we always had one thing that I've always been is I've always been me. I've always been upfront. Um, and that's also what makes my marriage work is that
Mhm.
me and my wife were friends when I was in that phase, and she knew
Right.
who I
Mhm.
was back
Right.
then, and she seen the level of understanding that I displayed to others, and why if I throw a wall up, you can never chisel it down again.
Yeah.
So
Right.
she's seen that when I'm done, I'm done. Right. So she never has to worry about, do I get an old feeling of nostalgia and I feel like I need to smash something from, no, I don't, because I don't care that much outside of what our agreed understanding was. And I
Mhm.
think that that's where a lot of times people fail, is because, and women more so than men, is we've become territorial over people and not able to appreciate experiences. And I've
Right.
always felt that I wanted to create experiences and memories and not own people, right? So like our time in, I'm gonna just throw a year in 2004 was
Mhm.
dope in 2004. That doesn't make it
Mhm.
relevant in 2023, but the
Right.
memory and the dopeness was always going to be there. But we don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's done. And you know, so being that I've always been that way, where when I turn the off button, it's an off button.
Mhm.
I've never did the whole make up to break up. I don't believe in that. If we
Mhm.
break up, we
For a
chose. I
reason.
don't do part
For a reason.
twos. I don't do part twos. I don't do the please take me backs. I don't do that. If we
Mhm.
not mature enough to work through something, we never going to work through it the second time. I don't do that.
Right.
I have this keen ability. I have a joke with some of my boys that like my feelings is like on some Wolverine shit, right? Like as soon as we say it's over, the healing factor kicks in, and
Mm,
I'm
I'm
right.
good.
good.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good, and we move forward. And I've worked myself to that, and that's so me being charitable at that stage of life was very helpful in that, because I was
Mhm.
able to be with people in such short periods of times that even when there was emotional investments to certain degrees, I was able to understand that we must move on. It's Wednesday, right? It's
Yeah.
Thursday. We must move on. And it built, I know it sounds like douchebaggish, but it really built
Oh,
a strength that I don't think I
not
would have
gonna tell
had.
none of my stories.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I
logic.
don't think I would have been strong had I
Mhm.
not been that person. And it
Right.
gave me an uncanny strength to be able to detach from people, because when I was young, um, I couldn't detach from people. It was
Mhm.
hard for me because I really wanted I really wanted to be people's friends. I really
Mhm.
wanted to, like, if I was with somebody, I really just I had this unrealistic dreams of lifelong, the picket fence. And I felt that when I was a kid. And
Right.
I really wanted to have the same friends for the next 100 years. And even if they did me wrong, I would try to talk my way into how we can still be friends. And I needed to be a douchebag in order for me to get over that. And it worked for me. And thankfully it made me a better person. The ability to connect and detach is a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I think the emotional tag that adds to it, obviously, with men, our emotions, we're able to more harness it and control it. With females, they kind of run rampant. I think, Mike, you had raised a good point. What is the attachment? What is the glue for them? I think, to be honest, nowadays, you said it would be girls' trip, brunches, or nail salon appointments, whatever the case may be. For us, we have sports. Like You ever meet a guy, you know, as we are, and within the first 5 minutes, we talk about the game last night, or you talk
Yeah.
about like something, you know, that happened, or someone tripped in front of you in real time. You know,
Yeah.
there's always something where you can kind of piggyback and like do whatever it is just to spark up conversation. And then, you know, it just, the sooner you know it, it's like 20 minutes in and you're just talking.
Yep.
When it comes to, you know, the other aspects of whether it be in a professional, you know, personal dating, whatever the case may be, I think it's hard because we evolve the older we get. I think our patience wears thinner and thinner. We are less prone to the
Yeah.
bullshit. I think there's a lot of times where you just don't want to be bothered. I mean, I've reached a point, I don't know about you guys, I've reached a point where if I don't know weeks and weeks in advance of something, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm fully content what I'm doing, and that is sitting my black ass at home. I don't need to go. Like, if you told me weeks in advance, yes, I'll go. If I committed to it, yes, I'll go. Don't you dare tell me the day or two beforehand, I'm not going. I don't care what it is you got going on. I'm not going. And I think that's something I adopted now because the world we live in is just too much. Like, yes, I'll step out there. You know, me being 25 is different from me now being in my 40s. I'm not trying to get souped up, dressed up, go get a cut, go do this, get a nice shave, press my clothes, and do no. Now we can't do that. At least I can't. I'm not doing all that. I'll do it on occasions because now time is money. Remember, our parents told us time is money. You're wasting your time. You're doing this. Not everybody is your friend. I'm understanding that more and more this day and age because when you do that, your friends are going to be the ones to tell you the harsh reality, the harsh truth. A lot of people want advice from you, but are they willing to accept the aspects of the truths that you see? You understand? Some people just want you to be a yes man. They just want you to sit there and entertain their BS and let them wallow in their victimhood or whatever the case may be. I can't do that. I just cannot.
Yeah.
I've
I can't do
never
that.
I've never been that kind of person. If you are someone who's fucking up, guess what? I'm going to tell you fucking up. I just can't sit there and tell you, oh, this dude is a jerk or this, you know, this woman is blah, blah, blah. No, what did you do? You played some aspect in it. I mean, if you doing something and you know you're off, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat for you. Like I've had, just like you guys, you've had friends 20, 30 years. When they ask you to this day about advice, you're going to give them the harsh truth, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
And in the society that we're in, some people just want you to sugarcoat because they want you to massage their feelings. And me personally, I cannot do that. I can't.
Yeah. So, like to say off what you said, Jay. So, in the female aspect, at one point, like I said, I had a line that used to come from Jay. Our time together is our time together. Our time apart is our time apart. Love Jay with your mind, girl, and not your heart.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And like
Yeah.
I said, it was the fact of, like I said, at an early age, I can say this. I can go back to, and my feelings got this way like this from an aunt of mine passing away. My aunt passed away, I don't know, I was super young. And I can remember everything vividly. I was crying in the bathroom at the house. They had the little reception at the end, you know, and I used to live there at one point in time. So I'm in the bathroom, and I'm like, why am I crying? Like, the tears can't do nothing, you know, can't bring her back, none of this stuff like this, so on and so forth. So that was one step of how I was able to start detaching from things. You know what I mean? Making that separation of, you know, all right, it's cool to be that way, but it doesn't need to dwell on. You know what I'm saying? And then I had other situations that happened as far as just, and like what you said was different for me was, like I said, you wanted like, where I'm at now in my life is because of the life that I had when I was younger. So being younger, and you know, even with that same rate, like I had a buzz. You know what I mean? Like I was the ball playing guy. Like, so everybody who was around me was trying to be nice. You know, they wanted to do the nice. They wanted to be cool with me. They wanted to this, that, and the third. And for me, I'm just with it. You know what I mean? I never, like I said, but I've never dealt with nobody trying to do me dirty either. So I've never gotten that bad. Like I said, with the Lil Wayne thing, like when he said he never, like I've never really felt nobody tried to hate on me before.
Right.
And if they did, it didn't matter because I still got whatever it is that they were trying to stop me from getting. It's just the fact that I know that you were mad about it or whatever it is and stuff like that. So, like I said, when I was coming up, it was always, you know, hey, you know, like I said, I got people that I've known for this day, 20 some odd years. I don't know their name.
Right.
Because they know me through sports. They know me through sports. And we just started having a conversation and we may speak. And like I said, I might consider them family, but don't know their name because how it all generated in the beginning. So like I said, with that part of the detachment to it, like I said, you know, me still being single at this point in time, I may get some of those old hit ups, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that because of the realness I've kept with them to understand this is what it was, this how it is. Maybe because somebody did, maybe it couldn't. And then when I was in relationships, like people respected that because they know, like when I'm in it, right, like don't fucking hit me up. Like it's nothing for you to hit me about. I don't cheat. I don't do none of these things. And when I was doing the poly thing, if you wasn't poly, it really was no reason for you to be hitting me up, asking me about anything as far as a relationship is concerned or any type of male-female interactions between us like that. You know what I'm saying? I've never been this, like I said, I don't have the memory. I don't have the gump to be sneaky and trying to, this is what happened, but I'm telling somebody this story or whatever it is and so on and so forth. So again, that's how I've always built them. And like I said, from being a, you know, like I don't even know how to really explain because it's always difficult for me to explain this because I'm not LeBron James or these particular people, but I've walked through New York and places like that. Like I've had that energy of when I played basketball, like, yo, look who's in the park. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've had that celebrity feel. I've had that where, oh snap, you know, come on in. That's, you know, I felt that. So like I said, the people who've been around me has usually always been people who's been, hey. And if I'm meeting them in those type of scenarios, I'm hey with you. So now we just bonded off of that. The same way it was like, yo, you heard the score from the game last night. You know what I mean? And then as I got older, when I stopped playing, that's when I stopped being around so much because it was still that same energy. But it's like, bro, I don't play ball no more. Like, leave me alone. Like, word of mouth. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I don't even, like, you know, like y'all talk about, I don't watch sports right now. HGTV. I don't watch sports. I do sports. When I come home, I watch movies and cooking channels. So if we can't talk about that, we probably ain't got nothing to talk about. I seen Ja Morant dunk last night. That's about it. But outside of that, I don't know what else happened in the NBA. So, you know, but that's what I say, like, that friendship to what's the name, it all just comes off of how we meet. And if I met you one time, we had a good bond, and I meet you again, we got a good bond, and I meet that motherfucker, he cool as shit. She cool as shit. You know what I'm saying? I rocks with her because you haven't given me no incidents of not that. But at the same time, like I said, when niggas are doing dirt, y'all know that ain't for me. Y'all out. Yo, like I said, what was it? Kane and Old Dog, like we about to hop in the car, like, yo, let me out. Let me out. You know what I'm saying? If y'all going to do that, I'm going to do this. And that's what I try to explain to my kids now. That's the one thing I do try to explain to them. I said, yo, bro, because there's some kids around here that ain't like that. I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I want to be able to have you be around those kids and those people and make the right decision. Right. I don't want to shelter you from it. Right. I can't. You know, like I said, even with my oldest son, like, but what he's dealing with now, what he's going through, me trying to shelter him from it is only going to really hurt me and hurt our relationship. I got to let him deal with it a little bit and just pray that he makes the right decisions and how he deals with people and stuff like that. And the same with my other son. Yo, bro, you know this kid is kind of like he be doing all types of shit. When it comes time to him to start doing all that type of shit, You
Time to
go
go.
this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when y'all up the block just shooting the hoops and talking about regular life stuff and this, that, and the third, I'm fine with that. But when he want to go around the corner or he want to crawl through somebody's window, you need to go left or, you know, whatever, you know, direction. And that's how it was for me. You know what I mean? Like I've been there with sitting in the projects all night till, you know, dudes till they cleared the block. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't do nothing. You know, I was over here. I might be shooting hoops. And when they do, hey, we going to do this. All right, I catch y'all when y'all come back. Y'all come back. Yeah, we back on the block. Hey, we just sipping and chilling. But what you do is what you do. What I do is what I do.
Jay, closing statements?
Yeah, you know, I just think that when it comes to friends and associates, as long as we're honest with ourselves, we don't mislead ourselves, and we respect and appreciate each person's individual stance on how they choose to perceive the relationship, you'll be fine, man. So, you know, it's like what we were saying before. Some people just ain't really gonna be your friend, and that's cool. We can still work together and we could get the job done. And some people, you're going to talk about your kids, your great grandmoms, old school stories, your lineage, because the vibe is there. And that's to be appreciated too. So, you know, I think, and I wish I knew this decades ago. Appreciate the people who ain't going to be your friend just as much as you appreciate the people who give you the time to be your friend. There's a lesson in both relationships, and you can benefit from having both relationships exist because there's a strength in having a wall in professionalism. So, you know, when it comes to friends and associates, just don't lie to yourself and you're going to be all right.
True. Mike, go ahead.
Now, just like you said, to piggyback over that, like that's the thing now is that, and that happens to a lot of pros or people this, that, and the third, where they don't know how to, that's how they get the bad agents and all this stuff like that, because throughout your whole life, you've only had to set, so whatever good people, you never seen the underlying stuff from, you know, or their hidden agendas and all that stuff like that, because you haven't had to deal with them on that level of, you got to deal with them consistently. So as I said, them people get to the next level and they got to deal with something like, yeah, I done signed a contract with this dude thinking he cool as shit, but he done put me in one of them slave deals, you know, or whatever it is. He's taking a super percentage or she, or whatever it is, and so on and so forth. So like I said, that's what I'm learning now because, but it's still, I still have that, you know, the great thing about it, like, I still, like, I was just talking with a father that I was training with. He was like, yo, like, you just got that effect. You have that way with people. Like, people want to be around you. People want to work with you. You know, you have a good rapport and stuff like that. And I'm learning now some of I got to separate, really look under some other people's stuff, because there's certain people that really do act like they fuck with you, but don't. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that affects you is if they have a hold on something that you have to deal with them with. But if they don't, like I said, I don't care. And like I said, that's my problem. Like, you know, like the love doesn't come from here for me. It comes from here.
Right.
If you got me here, I'm with you. And that's how it is with most people. I'm there with them on that. It ain't this type of wasn't because we haven't had no type of real connection or bond to have that. You know what I'm saying? But on the mental side, so like I said, I can nip that in the bud quick. Like, nigga, I ain't got to speak to you the rest of your life. You like what's name said? You could pass out right here in front of me, and I'll step over you like Iverson did Tyronn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know your energy is the same way. You would step over me like Tyronn, like Iverson and Tyronn Lue. So people be like, "Oh, you wrong." No, I'm not. I'm, like I said, I'm giving the energy that I get. So and right here on, you know, all right, what's in the kitchen? I got to turn out the microwave, but because you would do the same for me. So again, it's about how you deal with people and put yourself in situations. You know what I mean? As we go back to the thing with the girl, and you know the situation with the trip and all that and whatnot.
Right.
Lo and behold, God, you know, I don't know, but you know, the type of person I am, you felt that energy before that trip.
Yeah.
you felt some type of energy that told you these people ain't really for me, but I'm still going. You know what I'm saying? And shit. Now, you know, God rest her soul and all that stuff like that. But that's what I said. And that comes with sometimes with people who are searching for to be accepted. Like I said, that's how I feel like with my son. He wants to be accepted. So he's taking the negative, he's accepting the negativity.
Right.
Because that comes easy compared to things he got to work for, and you know he might not be the best at, which is in certain things in sports, not the best basketball player, may not be so you don't have that natural vibe towards you, you know. Right. For me, you know, always had certain things, this, that, and the third, so it was just different. But overall, man, as far as friends, associates, like I said, it's associates, friends, and family, and those people who are usually part of the family are originally friends that just were at a different level because we never had any problems. And I've known you for however many years, even if I haven't, like I said, Jay, like we've been doing this, it hasn't been no problems. Consider you family. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I feel we have a common denominator outside of just doing this show and whatnot. And then you're connected with him and stuff like that. And like I said, I just feel the energy. I feel like I feel like I could be comfortable around you and wouldn't feel like I got somebody who's, we buying steak tonight and he eating a cheeseburger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not looking at me like that. So that's what it is.
Yeah. For me, friendship is powerful. At the same token, it's long lasting. It also depends on the people you surround yourself with. Don't surround yourself with no suckers. I mean, those are easy to come by. Those are the ones that will just suck for your light and just, you know, throw the shade. You know, believe it or not, the person that's on your right, on your left, they can turn on you. I mean, you could know them for years on years. It don't matter. Within a couple minutes, that can all change. As it pertains to associates, merely transactional. We all work. We all have business dealings on our respective sides. People only do things and from the associate and acquaintance aspect for where it's beneficial to them. What can I get out of this person? That's what that means to me. And I'm sure everybody on this panel, that's what it means to them. If you have a true understanding, like we said earlier in the show, your parents, your guidance, whoever, guardians, whoever the case may be, have told you time in and time out, not everybody's your friend. Don't conduct yourself in that fashion, because that's an easy recipe for you to get your ass into trouble. Because when you're in trouble, trust me, you're going to really know who your friends are and who your friends ain't. You know, case in point, sugar and salt, they look the same, right? They are not the same. And that's the distinction of what friends and associates are. So you take it for what it's worth, but you're hearing it here on Straight to It, and you know that's how we're going to give it up. But this is episode 6 for us. We invite you to tap in, subscribe, like, and share. You know, also leave comments. We love to hear what you have to say. I know you have 3 personalities that you hear from time in on all of the episodes. So share your comments, share what you think we should improve on, share what you would like to hear. But other than that, that's Jason, that's Mike, and I'm Clem Boogie. We'll see you out next time. And you know how we give it up. We are doing it straight to it. All right, fellas.
All right.
Later.